Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go fast. I have the blank, which is good. I may have a bingo here. I do have a bingo here. I have Tzigany with the blank as an N. And there could be others. Let me cycle through the alphabet and see if I see anything. Well, I'm going to stop right there, because anything other than Tzigany is only going to be marginally better at best. So I'll save time for later. I should be typing. Okay, Tzigany, 108. And I draw the second blank. And surely there is a bingo here. I've got the S as well, and it's a well-balanced rack in terms of vowels and consonants. And no duplicates. And plenty of floaters. So having said all that, let me see if I can actually find something. Manifesto through 2 tiles. Not seen anything yet. Well, omnifies, I think. Let me consider what my opponent's done. He's bingoed, but more importantly, he's opened up a 9 timer. P and F don't go well together. But there could be something there. I'm going to spend a little bit longer thinking about prefixes and suffixes. So I've got the mis prefix, the ism suffix, the iso prefix, the form prefix or suffix. Now, I mentioned omnifies. Well, that certainly does play through the eye of plotting for not very much. Even if I don't have anything through the P, well, there's the Z in a double lane, there's the N for beginning or ending, so I could have a word beginning non. Now, I have informs as a 7. That plays in row G, making in and nigh. It doesn't get doubled. The T of plotting, the second T of plotting is available for a double-double. I've got the if-I ending, IFY. So, is this a play I should be spending more time on? I think I'll get this down. 72 points. There could well be something better, but I haven't seen it, and I don't wish to spend longer looking. Well, my bingo run ends, I think. I've got a scoring tile in the Y, which I note goes underneath the M of informs. 10 million floaters on this board. I've got doozy in column 4, but that doesn't get doubled. Zooid does, but retains the Y. But Zooey, Z-O-O-E-Y, is looking good. 34 points. And it sorts out the excess of vowels on my rack quite nicely. The rack leave of ADI is pretty good, and that goes well with the R of informs. Great, only 21 points for my opponent. So this is what I was looking at. Zooey, 34. Yeah. And the rack leave isn't great, but there are floating consonants on the board, quite a few, SMR and T and L. And the T of Tzigany. But am I missing something a lot better? What about this M? A play underneath here. Yod. Well, that score's about the same and the rack leave's worse. I'm going with this. Pretty good. I've got the head prefix with DIA. Quite a couple of duplicates on the rack, so there may not be something here. I've got the ED ending. Well, even though I can't see a bingo here, this is quite a nice rack because I think it's going to be fairly easy to sort out. I've got the H for score, and I'd like to play off one each of the duplicates. So I could play head parallel to plotting. Let me see what that looks like. So that's 30 points, which is a decent score. I'm removing floaters from the board, which is good since I'm 100 points ahead. The board was wide open with floaters. Head helps to change that. And the playing next go parallel to informs could really start to tighten the board down. I'm not looking to tighten the board down at the expense of points. But quite often the way to maximise points is by parallel plays, which has the effect of closing the board down. Now I note my H can go underneath the S of informs and next to ED. Can't see anything better than head. Now, what would be better than head is a head. Sorts out the vowel consonants balance a bit better and scores a bit more. So I quite like this and I'm going with it. Not good at all. I've had a good start, but now I'm hitting some heavy water. Just the one vowel. And not too many vowels on the board, just the O of informs. My G could go after IN. So I could play Viking in column 8, which would sort the rack out quite nicely. Not many points. And my priority is sorting the rack out. And this gets rid of quite a few non-synergetic tiles. And if I draw vowels, I could have a pretty decent rack next go. Well, I don't, but I do at least draw one vowel, and that does make a difference. I've got plum on my rack, so plumber through an E. My opponent's play of ever has helped to take out floaters. Ever takes an L in front, so I could play plum across the top, and that's not particularly dangerous because column 15 isn't at the top, isn't available for bingos. And the B, that's where the vowels are. Let me type plum. So the B next to this double letter square, not terribly dangerous. Both Y's have gone. So I don't think there are many high-scoring tiles which can go on that spot. So I don't think this is particularly dangerous. And in any event, a non-bingo isn't going to be that helpful for my opponent. This turns over 5 tiles, which helps to expedite the end of the game, and the rack leave is quite good. And that is also quite good. Is there a 7 here? Viking takes an S and dog takes an S. So a 7-letter bingo may play. I can't see one. It will be quite high probability if it exists. Now, through an A, I have diastral. That doesn't work there. No other A's available. Can't see anything beginning with the G of dog. Tailard's also through an A, but again, that doesn't play. Now, a play through an O could begin with the O or one square above. So there's dilators. That doesn't play. 13 minutes on my clock, 34 tiles left. It would be a shame to miss a bingo here, as ever. There's the T of Tzigany. And I could play an S after that. Can't see anything there. Now, am I missing anything? There's MA. And 7 letters can go after that. And there's SI. Can't see anything there. YO. Not very promising. There's an A here. That's no better than the A over here. So I can't see anything. And it's a shame to break up such a bingo-y rack, but I have to. I'm looking in column 4 to play parallel to a head. My T can go in front of HO. R can go, well, my R can go in front of, let me just put something down rather than talk. So Dart, 29 points, Rackley, pretty good. It's good to hang on to the S. I hope I haven't missed a 7-letter bingo, though. This is quite a promising set of tiles, and there are 7-letter lanes on this board. Well, it's just not coming to mind, so I'm playing this. And it's quite nice as well, opening up A1, because my opponent needs bingos, and this doesn't help him very much, but it does help me, because it will help me to keep on scoring, hopefully. Pretty good. I can't see a 7 here. Now, what about the floaters? Well, Dart has taken out the T of Tzigany, which is good. Can't see anything beginning with the A. And of course, Dog takes an E and an S underneath it. Close to Low Essex. Cinioles through an N. Nothing through an O. I've got the ISE ending. Now, can I use either of these triple word squares? I've got co-ed at A1. Only 21 points, but the rack leave of lies is quite nice. And I've got lobe at A15. Nice bingo by my opponent, 75 points. And he doesn't open the board up much, which is good. So I've got lobe here, keeping Isis, 21 points, and I have a slight preference for that over the A1 play, because the A1 play does open up a bingo lane. I'm just wondering if I've got a play down here using the C, possibly Coble. I'm not quite sure of that. Cybol is good, I think. So that's going to score a bit more, 30 points. And only 3 E's to come. I'm not too bothered about being swamped with them. They're fairly easy to deal with. And it would, in any event, mean that they're not on my opponent's rack if they're on mine. Great. It's nice to see the J. I've got G'd at A1, not particularly dangerous because not many 8-letter plays begin with J. Now, I've got injure through that R. That doesn't score very much. I'm just wondering if there's an 8 through it. Can't see it. Now, there's one S unseen, so my opponent could well be trying to set up a new lane. But I'm 130 points ahead. So I think I'll just keep scoring. I've got the S for going on the end of Santera, but I can't get the J doubled and the word tripled. I've got Suji, but that's only 5 letters long. Now, G does retain a U, which is slightly annoying. even though the Q's to come, there's also 2 U's to come, so I don't particularly want to hang on to the U. JEU is good, can't see anywhere for that. Now bed takes an A in front, so there is a bingo lane in column 2 with A in third place. 9 minutes on my clock, 17 minutes left. Now do I have a play in row M? J something something S something. Don't think so. I've got Jeune as a 5, but I can't see anywhere for that. Now, what about playing J down here? Now that is good. It burns the U. It scores a lot of points. It takes out column 2 as a bingo lane because B doesn't have any front hooks, and the rack leave of EINS is pretty good, especially with rows M and N available for E's and S's. Well, I duplicate some of the tiles on my rack, but I draw the final S, so my opponent played without having the S. Is there a bingo here? Well, there would be tennists through a T. Not many floaters to consider. Tennists would have gone in column 3 if I'd not played dart. Is there something with this rack through an R? Can't see it. Now, column 15 is available for a bingo beginning with A something S. Can't see anything there. So I've got the in prefix. I've got the ness suffix. Well, I'm just not seeing anything, and this is a slightly tricky rack to deal with because I've only got 1 point tiles. And it's pretty bingo-y. If I could play off just an N and an S, the rack leave would be excellent, but I'm going to struggle to score by playing off just those 2. My opponent plays Nix for a good score. He's still 140 points behind. There are 11 tiles left. Now, I don't have to play off the N and the S. I could play off just the N. However, I can do this for 16 points, and I would rather burn the S because this is a really nice 5-letter set, and I don't think the S helps it. Although, arguably it does, in the sense that if I have 2 S's, one of them can hook dog and and the other can go at the end of the word. So there is an argument for retaining an S. Also, by playing off only 1 tile rather than 2, I'm reducing my chances of drawing the Q. However, if I draw the Q, I do have an I to help me get rid of it. But how many of these tiles do I actually want to draw? Any vowel would be fine. Well, no, I am going with this. Okay, so I have teenies, and that plays in row N, making Doge. There's the Q. Now, do I have anything through the R? There surely is a bingo through with this rack plus an R. Eternize. That doesn't fit. Now, do I have anything in column 15? Not that I can see. So I've got teenies. Easiest through an S. Not too many floaters to consider here. Now, does teenies have an anagram? Don't think so. Where's the best spot for teenies? I think here. 67 points. I think the I slightly less dangerous than the E, but not much between them. The F can go under the I, the H could go under the E. Well, no, this is a better placement because if I'd started one square to the left, then the E would have been over this double letter square, so this is better. Crikey, that's pretty grim. Curfew through an E, but that wouldn't be an outplay. I can see what my opponent's got. He's got quite a nice rack, but I don't think there's a bingo there. I can't really take advantage of a play in row O. However, I've got flick coming down column 8. My opponent can probably go out in 2 here, so I'm expecting only one more play. Nice play. 42 points. I can see what he's got left. He's got error in row L through the R. And he's got U-Re-I in column 2, so he certainly can go out. He may not spot either of those, but I need to play as though he will spot them. The game is won. I've got a huge lead. But it's still nice to play well as one can. 5 minutes on my clock. Gosh, well, I'm struggling to see anything with this awful rack. I don't have anything at 01. Nothing which goes underneath the S. Not very much which goes through the R, and in any event that wouldn't get doubled. So, what can I play? I really have seen nothing at all, even through this R, and even setting aside looking for plays which turn over a lot of tiles, I'm struggling to see any good spots for any of my 3 high-scoring tiles. More vowels would certainly have helped. Now, what about this U? Have I got something down here? No, I don't think I do. So I can play WOF here for 14 points. I suspect there's something better, but I haven't seen it. I've got curl on my rack. I haven't seen anywhere to play that. Hopefully my opponent will go out and put this game to bed. I've got arc in column 14, down from the second day of Santera, should my opponent not go out. And I've also got cur in column 13 through the U of plum. So 2 spots to at least burn the C. I've got cult in column 3 onto the T of Tzigany. My opponent's got 11 minutes on his clock to find the best out. I'm looking around to see if there is anywhere that I can play out. I haven't seen anything yet. Quite a tight board. Great. Well, not great for my opponent. That's a phony. That's coming off. So, the game not dead yet. I've got 3 minutes on my clock. So I saw Kerr up the top here. I saw Cult. Keeping an arm. My R can go after the U, and it can also go underneath the U of Plum, so I certainly can go out next go if my opponent doesn't spot an out. I was just pausing. I suspect there was a higher scoring spot than that, but I'm absolutely miles ahead. Now, where is the best possible spot for my R if my opponent doesn't spot his out? He's still got error in row L. I've got for 4 points. Underneath the U of Plum for the same. Or and for the same. So I haven't seen anything which scores more than 4. My opponent doesn't go out. I've got 3 minutes left. Is there really nothing better than 4 points? Well, not that I can see. Doja not good. So just wait for my opponent to formally end the game, which he does, and the final score, 352 to my opponent, 502 to me, a winning margin of 150 points. So a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. Great. Wow, sort of great. I mean, it is always good to get away with a phony, but I thought Teeny's was good. It wasn't. Now, this is my opponent's opening rack. He changed. I have Zigany for a lot of points, and it looks like there were no other bingos, so I'm glad I didn't spend time looking for them. Nice spot by my opponent. Now, I played in forms for 72. There were 2 higher scoring bingos. Foamings, F7, making if and no, and monofills at C3. Okay, both quite hard to spot, so again, not a waste of time playing that fairly quickly. Now, does my opponent have a bingo? It looks like he has regreeded. He does, and he does have other bingos. Does he play one? No, he doesn't. This was my rack. I played Zooey for 34. That looks fine. My opponent's rack. He plays Dog. Again, he had a few bingos to find. Dadas, that's nice. B14. Yeah, very nice. Down onto the S. 38 points. I played ahead for 34, which is also nice. My opponent plays Ever, and now my rack massively deteriorates. I play Viking, which doesn't appear here. It doesn't score very much, but it sorts the rack out probably better than any of these plays. My opponent has the Vowels. I have this rack. I play Plum, and that looks fine. My opponent has Banters, which does play in row N. And Ant Bears. He plays neither. Now, great. I was waiting for some high probability bingo to flash up. It hasn't, and Dart looks fine. Although Labrid A15, also nice. This is where my opponent has Santera, which was a good spot. And Coble was good. I played Cybol for 30. Yeah, Coble, slightly better rack leave. Ekbol, also very nice, but all much of a muchness. Horrible rack for my opponent. So he played to sort out a troublesome rack, not to set up a bingo. Interesting. This is my rack, J6, Je. That was my play. My opponent has the Q. He plays Nix. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's a pretty horrendous miss. Sinnets and Senates. Okay. That's when I played Dinks. And this is probably an instance where the missed bingo hasn't cost me that much because Stein is such a strong 5-letter rack leave, there's a reasonable probability of bingoing the following turn. But it would still have been better to have played the bingo. My opponent plays quad. This is where I get away with teenies, quite fortunately, since no other bingos were available. My opponent plays YO, and this is a pretty grim end game. Awful indeed. Yeah, awful would have been a nice play. Keeping CR, so I would have had crew up the top. And, well, Arc would have been taken out. But there would have been a possibility of going out on my next play if my opponent doesn't spot his outplay. Waff was my play, which is the second one down on this list, but I think awful is quite a bit better. So the outs my opponent had were Era, Uri, and a couple of others. He phonies. I have this rack, and I played Cult for 7. Oh, Clever's quite nice for 10. Not much between any of those. My opponent plays rear, and finally 4 points was all that was available at the end. So, pretty exciting game. Always good to get over 500 points and good to rack up a high margin of victory. So I hope you enjoyed watching that, and I will see you next time.